She sleeps with a sheep. Really.
I seriously do sleep with a sheep. And the reason is the words of Jesus in John 10 says, "My sheep hear my voice and they follow me." So whenever something's going on with somebody I love, in my family or friends or in my church or somewhere around the world, it reminds me every time I see the sheep or feel him or touch him, wake up in the middle of the night, it impresses me to pray that prayer. God, may they hear your voice and follow you closely. Because see, our culture is inundated with sights and sounds and activities that seize our time and attentions. And our children, they're in public school and they're driven by education and athletic events and extracurricular activities. They have no time. And as parents, we are required, according to Deuteronomy, to speak to our children at all times and all circumstances and places and lead them to God, their Father. And the interesting thing is, and we can say, well, that's Deuteronomy, that's in the Old Testament, but okay, my sheep hear my voice. Jesus, when he was dueling with the devil, before he even chose his disciples, he was hungry. And the first words he said in response to the enemy, Satan's, challenging him to turn the stones into bread, he said, "Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." Okay, he was speaking of the Old Testament. That was a quote from Deuteronomy, and that is only 87 verses later is when he commands us as parents to speak to our children at all times and in all places, leading them to him when we rise up, when we lie down. So we can't possibly be around them as much as they were back in biblical days. Our culture has changed, but we can pray. We can pray. What else can we do, Melissa?
We can read devotionals together.
And we really need to make church one of our highest priorities, because we have other speakers and other people speaking into our lives. And I cannot begin to consider what my life would be like. I know my marriage, I never would have survived, or my children's lives would have been like. But they thrive. They are thriving now because of, I can't raise them myself. I need all of these other people speaking and sowing seeds into their lives. And the more seeds that are planted into their hearts and minds, the more seeds that will bear fruit. But if we're not there, we can't even we're not having seeds planted in their hearts that can bear any fruit at all. Satan wins that one big time.
Yeah. So. You can also post scripture throughout your house, in the backpacks, children's backpacks, and in their lunch boxes. You can write in their lunch boxes, may your favorite food be to do God's will. Just different things to encourage them throughout the day.
So yeah, and so I pray our young people have big decisions to make. What to major in college, or what avenue to take in education, who they're going to marry, and they're inundated with these decisions at a very young age. So we need to pray. And and the reason I do sleep with the sheep is in Lamentations, Jeremiah wrote, "Arise in the night and cry out as the watches of the night. Begin pouring out your heart like water for your children." And so even though it wasn't in such a desperate season, in some sense it is, because our children need our love and our influence and our prayers. So every morning after sleeping with a sheep and waking up 20 times during the middle of the night to pray, may my children and your children follow Jesus. After Bible study, I put my Bible inside this nifty little basket, and I stack my sheep on top of them. This is one the grandchildren gave me. Love it. And another one we collected along the way. The Lord's Prayer, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done." And it's because we want, the sheep is the reason we do this is because we want God's will, not ours, to be accomplished in our lives and on earth in all things. Excuse me, little guy. Thank you. So, y'all, that's it.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah, I saw a squirrel in the mirror. Outside the window there.
Oh, okay.